This topic. We have discussed about these topics earlier also in these calls with different people, and it always, comes up as something which we all bring different perspectives in. And this call is not going to be a webinar or anything. This is going to be an open conversation. So we would want that all the people who are here, please have a conversation, and you can ask questions, or you can share your own experience, or even experiences of people whom you have met or seen directly in your lives. And so we try to keep it more practical and keep it more relevant and related to people who are there in the group, rather than talking about hypothetical scenarios. So we avoid hypothetical scenarios, that what if this had happened or that happens or anything like that. So that is what this call is going to be about. And yeah, anybody can speak by just unmuting themselves. So rest of the time, please mute yourself so that other people can talk. And if you want to say anything or add anything or ask a question, then you can just unmute and speak. Welcome, 𝗕tože. Great. So today's session is, the topic is what constitutes cheating in a relationship. Right. So this is a rather very well discussed topic. So before I add anything to it, I would just like to know from all the people here who would um, who have any question or who want to begin it with any particular thing. Before that, Akarma, is there anything you would like to add before we begin the session?
Nothing from my side. No, I think that's good. How you have covered it. I was just remembering that Tanishta suggested this topic, so maybe she can start by saying like what triggered her to suggest this topic. So, and we'll take the conversation from there. Tanishta, you want to say something?
Okay, yeah, hi. So, what triggered me to suggest this topic was because I have experienced it firsthand, and I have also seen like few of my friends going through it, and we generally discuss like about what is cheating exactly. And I am really amazed by looking at different answers from different people, what exactly cheating means to them. So I just wanted to know, like, I have seen Anamika and you speaking specifically on conscious relationships and at various forums. So I wanted to know, like, your point of view, what is cheating in a relationship exactly. And personally speaking, when it comes to cheating, I get confused a lot of times, because sometimes I feel like, let's say, this particular act or this particular thought or a particular action of mine or the other person doesn't constitute cheating from my perspective. But then if I look at, let's say, from a neutral perspective, or few of my friends say no, this constitutes cheating. So I don't know where do I stand, or is it like cheating means different things for different persons, and we have to stick by the fact like what's my perspective on it. So like when it comes to cheating, there are a lot of perspective, and I'm not able to come to a particular point of view or perspective as to what cheating is exactly in a relationship, and I want all of you to put light into that. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, good. Can you give me an example of this? Like, for example, what you think is cheating and what the other person, other people are talking about. So, just so we understand that where is the gap or the conflict. So, an example would help.
Okay, so I would like to give two examples. First being very simple, and it's very cliche, of course, nothing like it's very like all of you have heard of it. Let's say a person is, again, it's not hypothetical and it's not related to my life as well, but one of my friend's life, but I have seen it ki, okay, this is the case. So, and I will not take the name for the sake of privacy and confidentiality. So yeah, so one of
Yeah,
my
that's fine.
friends, she was of course in a relationship, and then um she feels it is okay, even if she is with a person, she can talk to someone else, be it on various dating sites or let's say on Instagram, go out, have coffee, party with them, but at the same time her partner is not at all okay with it. And so she approached me, and I didn't have any answer to that, whether whatever she is doing, and when she knows that the other person whom she is involved with is 100% interested in her, so she knows that the other person she's talking to him on a daily basis, going out with him, partying with him, is interested in her. At the same time, she is in a relationship with other guy who doesn't give him enough time and attention whatsoever it is. So is it just cheating, or maybe she has not received enough commitment from the person with whom she is in a relationship, so she has that choice to move out of the relationship and get involved with other person as well, because that's what she loves to do. But then I didn't have any answer to that question. So that's one scenario. Second
Mm-hmm.
scenario is, so yeah, maybe we can move ahead with this and I can tell the second scenario later on.
No, you can tell the second also now. Or whichever,
I
like,
just had one question in this
yeah, yeah.
scenario.
I thought you would that.
So this guy, she's actually in a committed relationship.
Yeah.
He's aware of all that she's doing. I mean, she is telling him upfront that this is all I'm doing and this is what I want to do, or she's hiding it all and then doing it.
Not exactly, she's rephrasing whatever she's doing as of like, he's my friend and he's my business colleague and we go out, but since I am her friend, I know what's going on inside her heart and everything.
Right, right.
So it's like she is not very upfront with whatever she's doing with the guy, but yeah, like she's rephrasing whatever she's doing.
Okay, okay.
So she basically knows that this guy likes him.
Hmm.
She's aware of that, but she's also clear that I don't want to do anything. I just only want to be friends and all that. So
Hmm.
that's what she's saying, and she's continuing.
Hmm.
Although that continuing is kind of making the other person. So she knows that he likes him anyway, but she's still doing it under the thing that it's just friends.
Yeah, and she herself questions her conduct, whether whatever I'm doing comes under the category of cheating or not.
Okay. And she is, if she's aware that the other person is interested in her,
Hmm.
right? And she is, I'm just assuming things right now. Okay, so I
Right.
can be absolutely wrong,
Hmm.
but as I've seen these kind of scenarios, so she is kind of keeping the other person in the middle.
Hmm.
That not saying a yes, not saying a no. She's just hanging around and doing whatever, like going for
Hmm.
a coffee or whatever things.
Hmm.
So the lead is on, but
Hmm.
it's not off also, and
Right.
she's in a committed relationship also.
Yes, and interestingly, this guy, like with who is interested in her, he is not aware of the fact that she's in a committed relationship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
So she didn't tell him upfront that yes, she is in a relationship.
okay, okay.
So whether this constitutes cheating or not.
Right.
If I'll give my personal opinion, then yes, it does.
Huh.
It is very much that, but yeah, I mean, we don't know the person personally,
Right.
so yeah. Yeah, and the second scenario, yeah, anything to add, Akarma?
Yeah, so I was going to ask Tanisha that you said she's your good friend. So based on that, do you think she is serious about the committed relationship or not?
She is serious about the relationship, but the fact is, the guy with whom she is in a relationship, uh, he just wants to be with her for, let's say, for temporary basis, and he is not thinking about it on a long term basis, or let's say future basis, because he's busy in building up his career or whatsoever it is, and this makes her really insecure in the relationship. So she feels like, anyway there is no future, so I can do whatever I want to do.
So in that case, why are you calling that this is a committed relationship? Then how come it's committed? Committed from whom?
Committed relationship, as in, she, like, again, this is, I asked her and this is her sentence only, committed. So from the guy's perspective, committed relationship means that yes, we both are committed to each other for the timing in the present moment, and we don't know what lies ahead in our life in the future.
Right.
So there is a lot
Right.
of confusion involved between the three between the three persons. Yeah.
Yeah, because they are creating their own definition of commitment itself.
Right.
So this is what I feel that see, certain words have got very good definition and very good understanding. And
So
when we say
Karma, what
commitment,
according
we
to
know
you
what
is commitment?
commitment is when I'm clear about the future. If
Hmm.
you are saying right in this moment I am committed, oh,
Hmm.
what if everything is like that? Then everybody is committed to everything.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So right in this moment I am committed to this, but next moment what I will do I don't know. Then what is that? How is that commitment? फिर वो तो that applies to everything then.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
मतलब I will just change my mind next second. I'll change my mind next 5 minutes. ऐसे हाँ,
Hmm.
but 5 मिनट पहले तो मैं committed ही था ना.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
And talking about the basic human needs, so the first basic human need is certainty. And that is why I guess this is so important when it comes to, commitment. Why we commit to each other? Because as a human, we all want to feel secure. We don't want to feel that our life is just going haywire here and there and it's just running into, although we all are also innately aware that we don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? But this is how we are created as humans. I mean, our whole system is like that, that we want to feel secure. And that is the whole purpose of, you know, commitment in a relationship. Because now as you told the further thing that her boyfriend is like कि future का future में देखेंगे, we don't know what's going to happen and all. So probably this doesn't meet that need of her, that she could feel secure in the relationship. She can look at her partner as somebody, who she can come back to,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
because she doesn't know.
Hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. All she wants is security in the relationship, and
Mm.
what she's getting is uh, कि destination का कुछ नहीं है, whatever is happening right now, let's just be okay with the fact, and she is not okay with this fact. And even
Mm.
if she has tried several times to put out this particular thing during the conversations with him, that she's not okay with this particular thing, कि let's just be in the moment and not think where life takes us, and let's just focus on the journey rather than the destination, all those things. But she's like, since I know her very personally, all she needs is just security in the relationship, and which she's not getting here, so she's just giving the chances to other guys.
Yeah, yeah, and she is. Um, or again, I would say that I'm assuming a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know her personally,
Hmm.
but listening to this, because she doesn't feel secure in her, own self. So
Hmm.
in that case, also, the you know, people do this, and this is a very common thing which people do, is
Hmm.
that they'll keep their options open,
Hmm.
and by keeping their options open, they find a way to make themselves feel secure, because अगर ये नहीं होगा तो at least ये तो है ना, right? Not this option, then this option is there. So yeah, that's how it kind of plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Nisha? Is this cheating or not cheating?
I don't know. I'm also waiting for others to speak on it if they would like to.
Anybody else has anything to say? You have to unmute yourself on top. It's like nobody has said.
Hi, I would like to speak. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
you are.
Okay. See, actually, I had this peculiar experience from one of my friend. This couple, they had a kid, right? So I came to know from seeing both were seeing each other, different people, right? And I don't know too, but they were seeing each other. Then I asked them, see, if you don't like each other, you can just come out of the relationship. Both are in relationship with different individual, and then they are continuing this thing very smoothly. I was quite surprised. Now, does this amount to cheating? Right. But they were telling that they cannot break this relationship just for the sake of their family, friends, all this peer pressure. They have a kid now, all this thing. But doesn't this amounts to cheating? Right. I am putting this question to you. What is your opinion on this?
See, in my opinion, I'll say this. Like I'll make a blanket statement in this case. In all the cases, even what Tanishta mentioned in this one, that people will have their own reasons for doing this. What she was talking about her friend. So her friend has a valid reason that she's feeling insecure. Although they are calling it committed relationship, but whatever I heard in 5-10 minutes, I don't really see where the commitment is. Where is the commitment in this relationship? So they are using this word commitment, but I really don't see where is the commitment. So if one person is needing commitment, one person is needing that security and safety in a relationship, the other person is not ready to offer, and then the partner goes and does something just because they don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. So in my opinion, cheating is when one partner does something and has to hide it from the other partner. So whatever the circumstances, whatever the reasons for doing it, I'm not going in that, but I'm just putting a blanket statement is cheating would be that you going and doing something behind their back, and don't want them to know about it for whatever reason, whether it would hurt them or it will break the relationship or it will cause embarrassment or it will cause insult or whatever reasons. But if we are not able to tell it, if we can't talk about it with our partner, if we have to do it in hiding, then in my opinion, it's cheating. That's my definition of cheating.
Yeah. Well, the thing that you told, Saurav, I remember a story of, a couple that I know. So they have been married for a very long period of time, and there was actually nothing left in their marriage. I mean, at least that is what they were experiencing. So we don't know about other people. I'm specifically talking about them. And they were both very जैसे that happens ना, हम ऊब जाते हैं. So they were both like done with it, and they were at peace with it. Now they had kids, and they have family, all the peer pressure and everything. Now, very openly they discussed it and they talked about it, and they both very clearly said to each other that okay, fine, we are fine. We both are aware that we both will be exploring relationships outside, and they both went on exploring. They got into kind of an open relationship. So legally they were married, but they were in a kind of an open relationship, and both of them were like very clear about it, that nobody's going to ask nobody about the personal details and everything. So they were not sharing that who they were hanging out with and whatever, but they both were like that we are both fine. So personally, and they were actually very happy after this transition in their lives, right? It did not create any conflict in their relationship, because they were very clear that what that relationship meant to them and what their personal lives meant to them. So they were like coming to a conclusion that we will keep this relationship for the sake of family and kids and everything. So like Karma mentioned, there was no hiding, or there was no alteration of facts and alteration of facts, anything involved. It was like very clear that this is what is happening. So they both had that expectation with each other, and they continued, and I guess they are still in a very like healthy environment. So I would say one thing, that in that case we cannot exactly put it in the definition of a romantic relationship. So यहाँ पे तो scenario ही बदल जाता है. They are in a relationship for more logistical purpose, for more operational things. So you cannot call a relationship a deep romantic relationship just because it has got their names on the paper. So they were actually living very different lives. They were just staying in the same home for the sake of logistics, because they did not want to complicate their life. So यहाँ पे everything changes. It's a more legal relationship rather than an actual romantic one.
And even your Tanishta ka example tha, I would say कि I would still categorize that as cheating only, Tanishta. Reason is कि whatever reason your friend is feeling justified कि उसको वो नहीं मिल रहा relationship में जो उसको चाहिए, उसको commitment वो नहीं मिल, that is fine, that is totally fine. But she doesn't have the courage and guts to talk about it with the guy. She doesn't have the courage and guts to talk about it or break it off. So उसको ये भी चाहिए, वो भी चाहिए. उसने वो भी रख रखा है, जबकि उसको पता है कि मुझको ये नहीं चाहिए, मुझको ये टाइप की कमिटमेंट नहीं चाहिए. वो बोल रहा है कमिटमेंट, बट वो कर नहीं रहा है, वो उसको क्लियर है. एंड शी इज एक्सप्लोरिंग आउटसाइड, एंड शी इज डेटिंग अनदर पर्सन एंड नॉट टेलिंग द अदर पर्सन दैट शी इज सीइंग. सो वो उसमें करेज और गट्स की कमी है टू एक्चुअली फेस द सिचुएशन and tell even to the third guy to say कि हाँ मैं हूँ उसमें और मुझे वो पसंद नहीं है. तो I am so वो ओपन नहीं, वो वल्नरेबल नहीं हो रही है. उसके रीजन सब जस्टिफाइड हो सकते हैं कि उसको वो नहीं मिल रहा है जो उसको चाहिए, उसकी वजह से वो कर रही है. लेकिन वो बात कर सकती है. वो she can make it or break it. She doesn't have to be in middle like this. She can just say to her boyfriend कि मुझे नहीं चाहिए इस टाइप की कमिटमेंट. या तो you commit fully and I understand you can't commit fully, then that's fine. तो वो इधर भी देख रही है उधर भी, और जब उसको कुछ ऐसा मिल जाएगा then she will break off with him until she will find something which is more stable and all that. तब तक वो तो ये कोई बहुत एक मेंटली स्ट्रांग इंसान के वो नहीं है, लक्षण नहीं है, क्वालिटी नहीं है. शी इज fearful that she will be left alone. तो एक नाव से निकलने से पहले वो दूसरी में पाँव रखे और उसको प्रॉपरली वैसे करके she just wants to suss out कि इसको छोड़ने से पहले एक कर लूँ पहले एक चीज़. So I still consider that as cheating only. Although her reasons may be justified, but वो कर तो छुप के ही रही है ना.
Right.
And it's so fascinating to see that people who actually feel insecure end up attracting people who will continue making them insecure. So
Right.
she herself feels insecure, so she has attracted a boyfriend who makes her feel more insecure. But then just because she is feeling so insecure, she doesn't have the guts to go and tell him that, see, I want a secure and committed relationship, because she herself is insecure. So she always has that fear that in case she does that and that guy decides to leave the relationship, she would be left alone. Right. And it's her own insecurity because of which she's not telling the other guy as well that I'm in a
Otherwise
committed
वो भी छोड़
relationship.
सकता है.
हाँ,
अगर
वो भी
उसको
चला
बताएगी तो
जाएगा.
शायद वो भी छोड़ देगा. तो वो हर जगह डर से ही ऑपरेट कर रही है. कहीं भी ऑथेंटिक नहीं हो रही है कि मुझे ये करना है.
Yeah. I can I know what you're saying is completely right.
Yeah, exactly. And the day she starts feeling secure in herself, वो entertain ही नहीं करेगी ना. She would not entertain people who don't want a secure relation, मतलब a committed relationship. Then she would say okay to, and she would keep looking for people who want that kind of relationship. Yeah.
You had another scenario also.
Oh yeah. Yes. So again, it's somewhat related to it, but slightly different. So what happened in this scenario? This girl was really serious about the guy. Was much more into giving, and the guy, like her boyfriend, was not so serious about her, and very. Uh, so the relationship was not open, but he was not so serious. I mean, he was like, okay, maybe serious is not the right term. So the girl, she was really, when it comes to emotions, she was really deep, intense, involved. And the guy, he was a very not so emotionally expressive person, and just very light and something like that. And on the face of it, again, I don't know the full details and I cannot assume certain things, but on the face of it looked like as if she was much more invested into the relationship as compared to the guy. So the investment, all investments, all sorts of investment was from the girl side rather than the guy side. And interestingly, the girl ended up cheating upon the guy. So for me, it was like, I mean, it was something ki no one can even imagine in the widest of their imaginations that she would do like that, because she was totally like होते हैं ना वो लोग, मेरा तन मन धन सब तुम्हारा है, like that. So she was totally into him, and then one day all of a sudden she just extremely opposite personality, and she ended up cheating upon him, and even he couldn't accept the fact that something like that could happen. So what can be the possible reasons of such a thing where all of a sudden extreme shift of personality happens?
I'll share with you my what I'm hearing from the story. So the tan man dhan wali cheez, what you're saying,
Yeah.
People do that.
Yeah.
People do that. A lot of people do that. क्योंकि society में एक वो stereotype और एक तरीके से दिखाया जाता है ना, that this is how it looks like. But वो अभी तक अंदर नहीं उतरा है, वो अभी भी बाहर है. So in all her actions, possibly in all her actions, she was like dedicated tan man dhan.
Yeah.
ठीक है. और हाँ, ये again I'm assuming things, possibly कि मतलब इतना easy नहीं है इतने linear direction में बता पाना, because हम personally उसको जानते नहीं हैं. So we don't know what exactly was the situation at that time when she cheated and all. And was it intentional, unintentional? Was she drunk or was she conscious, we don't know. But even if हम मान लेते हैं जो भी हम assume कर रहे हैं, then still uh, possibly she was doing all that because she learned, that was a learned behavior, that was not something which, that was coming from inside of her, because so that is what I sensed from the story.
So maybe two things which I missed upon as a fact. Firstly, she was in a state wherein she couldn't take a decision for herself. And secondly, what she shared with me was she felt like she was unconsciously driven into the second relationship. I mean, वो बस होता चला गया and उसे पता भी नहीं चला, like that. Even if she didn't want it, but then like she was totally sucked into it completely. And when everything happened, she was like, "Oh my goodness, what did I just do?"
Yeah, and the second possible scenario, like after you giving this fact, key possibly her need, like you also told in the beginning, that she is a very intense person and the other person is a very shallow person. ठीक है, तो अगर हम उसके साइड से भी देखें, so ये भी पॉसिबिलिटी था कि जो इंटेंसिटी she was bringing in the relationship, she was not getting it back. So there's a possibility that she was feeling that relationship was not good enough, and then maybe at that point of time she felt that intensity which she adores. So in that case it might have happened.
Yeah, right.
Even you are also saying that this was happening, like she got sucked into it over a period of time. So that implies that it just didn't just happen. Let's Anamika was saying she got drunk and did it. So it's not something that just happened like out of nowhere. It was actually building up. Right? तो फिर जब वो हो रहा था तो was the other guy aware that she was actually seeing another person in parallel as well?
Not at all.
तो फिर वो तो चीटिंग की कैटेगरी में आ जाता है ना?
Of course, that was clear, categorically cheating it was, yes.
Okay. तो फिर क्वेश्चन क्या था यहाँ पे?
Question. So my question was, how can such a shift with respect to extreme personalities happen, like an extreme shift in her personality?
कहाँ एक्सट्रीम हुआ? ओवर टाइम. और पहले तुमने ये बात बोली थी तो मुझे भी अजीब सा लगा था कि ऐसे एकदम से कैसे हो गया. बट एकदम कहाँ हुआ? यू आर सेइंग ना कि शी हैज बीन सीइंग द अदर पर्सन ओवर टाइम.
So maybe there was some miscommunication. What I wanted to say was the girl who was totally invested and dedicated towards the first relationship, just in a span of 1 month, she completely shifted towards the other guy.
Because उसको वो जो थी वो अपनी तरफ से इन्वेस्टेड थी. But the guy was not responding equally. तो कहीं ना कहीं उसको कोई और इंसान मिला जहाँ पे that was responding in a way she wanted her boyfriend to respond. तो वो कहीं ना कहीं वो जो एक लैक उसको उस रिलेशन में फील हो रहा था, वो यहाँ पे वो लैक ये होने लगा ना, फुलफिल हो रहा था. तो वहाँ अट्रैक्शन तो आएगा ही, क्योंकि जो चीज़ हमें चाहिए जो वो अगर कोई और दे रहा है तो उसकी तरफ हम अट्रैक्टिव तो फील करेंगे ही ना, नेचुरली है वो तो.
राइट.
तो और ये कोई एक दिन में नहीं हुआ ना, ये तो ओवर टाइम हुआ. तो 1 महीना भी बोलो तो 1 महीने में भी अगर दे आर मीटिंग वेरी रेगुलरली एंड शी इज फीलिंग दैट अट्रैक्शन, तो फिर पॉसिबल तो है, क्यों नहीं पॉसिबल है?
राइट.
unless the guy gives her what she wanted from her boyfriend, but she doesn't feel any kind of attraction for him, तो वो different case है.
Yeah.
I am sure कि यहाँ पे उसकी तरफ से भी कुछ तो अट्रैक्शन रहा है.
Yeah, it was mutual.
हाँ, तो वो भी she was attracted to the second person. That's one. And second, the second person is giving her what the main boyfriend is not giving her. तो होना ही था। हाँ, एकदम कहाँ हुआ ये, तो 1 महीना तो लगा ना इसमें, मतलब उसको भी उस पॉइंट पे आने में 1 महीना तो लगा ही होगा ना, कि उसने भी काफी स्ट्रगल किया ही होगा उस पॉइंट से 1 महीने तक, कि whether she go ahead with that or not go ahead with that. But if she is not getting what she is expecting from her boyfriend, even when she is giving everything to him, तो हाँ, हम मतलब रिलेशनशिप्स कुछ हद तक तो ट्रांजैक्शनल होते ही हैं ना। हमें गिव और टेक अगर नहीं होता है, चलो बिल्कुल इक्वल भी ना बोलो, तो भी थोड़ा तो इतना लेवल का तो हो कि इंसान का इंटरेस्ट और वो बना रहे। अगर इक्वल भी नहीं है तो कुछ तो मिले। अगर कुछ भी नहीं मिल रहा है और एक इंसान बस दिए ही जा रहा है अपनी तरफ से, तो आफ्टर अ व्हाइल इट डज स्ट्रेच। हम सबकी अनलिमिटेड पेशेंस टॉलरेंस लेवल तो नहीं होती ना। So it seems like that she was taken for granted in that relationship.
Yeah.
Namika, you have anything to say? मेरा तो हो गया।
No, I just wanted to add, that we people we just talk about, cheating, and we label cheating, directly as good and bad. But if we dig, deeper into what it is, so हाँ, बहुत सारे scenarios में it is possible that, the person has a habit of cheating and the person has whatever, so वो भी एक unhealthy state तो है ही, so वो तो है, it's like full of that unhealthy space. But if we talk about such relationships जहाँ पे you're talking about, it was like the girl was overgiving and the boy was shallow and all that, so वो भी we just see relationships, very from a very linear perspective. But if we talk about people who are not in the habit of cheating or anything, but if it just happens, then we also need to, dig deeper that what led to it, right? So, and then it again comes back. Everything comes back to both the partners in the relationship and bringing clarity to what do they want in the relationship, what are they willing to do for the relationship to keep it healthy, because healthy relationships require efforts, require constant, and it's not like that effort should feel like that you have big baggage on your back and you're moving forward. That effort should also come from willingness from both the people. But it is evolving, like each one of us are evolving constantly. The relationships are also evolving constantly, and our needs and our wants and things that we fantasize about, talk about, our desires, everything keeps evolving and changing and everything. So if for a very long period of time happens, not with a lot of people, but still with a like substantial amount of population, that when their needs are constantly not met over long periods of time, and people who are taken for granted and who are overgiving, then it is meant to bring resistance, resentful things. It is meant to bring a lot of resentment inside, and then in those scenarios also things happen, because both the partners were not equally involved. And it's not like it's just her boyfriend's fault or anything. It's not anybody's fault. It's like what steps they are taking to actually make the relationship work. So it was her responsibility also to ask him for what she needs, and to also do a very genuine, serious check on what her needs are, because our needs are very different. So हो सकता है कि मुझे चल जाता है कि मेरा बॉयफ्रेंड शैलो हो, बट हो सकता है तनिष्ठा को नहीं चलता. She wants an intense person. So if intensity is her innate nature, then it is pretty obvious she is not going to be going to be compatible with somebody who is not that intense, right? And इसमें कोई doubt वाली बात नहीं है कि मतलब how do we label people as one person intense, one not? It's just we all are different, and we read whatever, be it numerology, be it zodiacs, be it astrology, be it palmistry, any kind of science. So we are all different because we are all born with different, kinds of innate nature. तो ये तो बस ऐसा ही है. We cannot do anything exactly about it. So all we can do is we can consciously see what we are bringing forth in the relationship and what the other person is. अब यहाँ पे in the whole scenario, her boyfriend is not probably paying attention to, meeting her needs. She herself is not paying attention to meeting her needs, because it's not just her boyfriend taking her for granted. She also has taken herself for granted. And then out of that resentment, a lot of things unfortunately then happen, and then we regret about it. But if we go back and we start taking these decisions with more clarity and, more consciously we start taking these decisions, then we can, make these things work. And in case there is a very high amount of incompatibility, very, I mean, one person is like too emotional and the other person has like too much, problem with showing his or her emotions, and one person is always asking for the other to being vulnerable and the other is not able to be vulnerable, he's always struggling. These things really need to be communicated and talked of and, sat with. So, and that is where, the efforts in the relationships are required. And ऐसा नहीं है कि वो efforts हम कोई एग्जाम के पेपर की तरह कर रहे हैं, that we achieve something. It should come from the intention that both the people actually want to make the relationship work. Right. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, thank you, Anamika. Like it gave a like as a like it gave a lot of clarity to me as well, uh and certain things that I myself is struggling with, and not exactly related to cheating, but yeah, different other aspects as well.
Thanks, Tanishta.
Yeah.
Neelu, Jaspreet, Saurav, anything to add?
Yeah, hi, good evening. Um, yeah,
Evening, Jaspreet.
As Sachin said, like sometimes one you are in one relationship you are not fulfilled. That's why you get into another for the fulfillment of your needs. So that's a situational thing, but that's also called the cheating. Like, what is so what's the difference? Because everybody has their own justification for getting into another relationship. So that might be due to the reasons or justification. The person wouldn't want to do cheating, but yes, the circumstances has made her or his to go for that relationship. So I just need little more clarity on that.
नहीं समझा एक बार फिर से नहीं I didn't understand the question.
Cheating is like you said, no, you are hiding something from your partner and doing something. Yeah. So, for example, in the case you were discussing over this point that someone has not been met, he has given 100% to one relationship and and that the person was not unable to fulfill all his desire from that relationship, and he got attracted towards another relationship due to the because that need was not fulfilled.
Right.
So that's a situational one. Like that's why he or she got attracted towards other relationship. So that's a everybody has their own reasons. So that also you called it at cheating. That's my question. Like I need clarity.
Mm, See, cheating तो है ही. When if you have to hide, then it is cheating. But again, we are saying कि कभी कभी लोग वो जानते बूझते भी वो करते हैं. Like that's what you want to do. So हम हम कर रहे हैं, और अगर हम वही चाह रहे हैं करना, तो इट्स फाइन. मे बी दैट इज द सिचुएशन, दैट इज. बट वो रहेगी तो चीटिंग ना. तो अवेयरनेस तो होनी ही चाहिए ना इस चीज़ की कि है तो चीटिंग ही ना अल्टीमेटली. तो हम
See,
उसको कोई अलग पजामा तो नहीं पहना सकते ना. वी कांट जस्ट से कि नहीं है. हम कर एक केस हो सकता है जब हम कर रहे हैं अननोइंगली, अनइंटेंशनली, मतलब.
mm-hmm.
और एक है जब हमें पता है कि हम जो कर रहे हैं वो चीटिंग है, लेकिन लेकिन फिर भी हम कर रहे हैं क्योंकि उसके अलावा कोई ऑप्शन नहीं.
Correct. Yeah. Right.
तो क्या हुआ, क्वेश्चन क्या हुआ इसमें?
नहीं मतलब वही है कि हाफ ऑफ द वर्ल्ड नोज, कुछ को पता होता है, कुछ अनइंटेंशनली भी करते हैं. मींस ठीक है वो उनको पता है, इंटेंशनली भी करते हैं, बट ये अनइंटेंशनली तो नहीं. मतलब सेल्फ अवेयरनेस इज ऑलवेज देयर, बट द ओनली थिंग you you feel better and you feel get happiness also out of this. That might be that's a temporary one. That's not the final destination of your journey, but still you feel it is okay if it is giving you a happiness.
यस. Yes, I think it is true. If your reason is justified, then yes.
Yeah. And it again, Jasprit, I feel boils down to, you know, both the partners in the relationship coming back and talking about it. And many a times it happens that, people hide things for whatever reasons and all that. So it's also very subjective. But one thing which I feel is the person who's doing it really needs to, dig deep and look, within that how and why, and ask some questions to themselves.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Even you always come on your own track also if you get diverted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. That's true.
And every relationship is so different. It's so fascinating that each relationship is very different. And if we can call it the terms and conditions of relationships, which are some are rigid, some are changeable, some are like rock, some are like water, liquid and hard, everything. So that's why partners need to keep improvising on their own terms and conditions in the relationship, right? So it's not about labeling cheating as good and bad. That's not what it is about right now. It is about looking within that. What has that happened once, or is it a constant behavior? If it is a constant behavior, then we really need to look into it, and if whatever it is, we need to talk about it. So every couple, needs to figure it out for themselves, that what is it that you want. And the thing is that, in most couples, they actually never talk about it, and they actually don't. We go kind of go on assuming things that, from our own perspective, कि अगर मुझे लगता है कि this is how it should be, then मैं ये assume कर लूंगी कि सामने वाला is also like should behave, or so. A relationship, a connection is actually about, कि हम सामने वाले को अपना हिस्सा मान के चल पाए. We see the other person as a part of us, and we see us as a part of them, right? So there are a lot of things and factors which need to be considered. And itne variations hain. Every couple is different. Each one of us are different. So coming to that point of agreement that, okay, this is how it is. And even if it is disagreement, that दोनों के viewpoints बहुत अलग-अलग हैं, it is still a point of agreement क्योंकि दोनों aware हैं कि उनका दोनों का disagreement है. So maybe they will take out some time, and then they will get back to a point कि अच्छा, चलो, अभी we understood what's the way and where we need to go forward. क्योंकि होता है लाइफ में, we have to make choices, and we have to decide what is more important and what is less important, right? So even if, like you said, that it gives you happiness, that's absolutely right and fine, that gives you happiness and all, but then again, you need to come back and, sit with your relationship and see where it is going forward, and at least bring clarity. तो यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम ये हो जाती है कि लोग ओन भी नहीं करते हैं, ठीक है? सो एटलीस्ट ओनरशिप तो ले सकते हैं कि if this is what it is, this is what it is.
वही मेन चीज है कि अगर हम कॉन्शियसनेस से भी किसी का मर्डर कर रहे हैं तो कर तो मर्डर ही रहे हैं ना. तो वी कांट रियली से कि कॉन्शियसनेस से कर रहे हैं तो कुछ और हो गया. वो है तो वही ना, जो है तो चीटिंग ही. लेकिन कॉन्शियसनेस से कर रहे हैं तो उसमें एडवांटेज क्या है कि यू शुड बी अवेयर कि इसकी कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस क्या हैं. सो समथिंग दैट इज हैपनिंग जस्ट लाइक दैट, you don't know, but anything which you have awareness about, then you can check the consequences. What is this? So that's the difference between this. Decide किया है कि ये करना है तो ठीक है, but then be aware that whatever consequences will come, then you are ready to face those consequences as well. And then that's fine. If considering everything, you think what my current situation is and what is there, and based on that, what I am getting or not getting, and this is the only way, and by doing this, क्योंकि करोगे तो भी उसका कोई consequence आएगा, नहीं करोगे तो भी आएगा. तो so you need to be aware to which one you are ready to handle, which one you are ready to take ownership and responsibility for, and then just take that action. But whatever you do, अगर वो बता के नहीं कर रहे, अगर अपने पार्टनर से हाइड करना पड़ रहा है, तो by definition है तो चीटिंग ही. It's just the difference is कि now you are consciously doing it, but सोच समझ के कर रहे हो उस चीज को, but रहेगी तो चीटिंग ही है. तो कोई अलग तो नहीं हो जाएगा. तो यू जस्ट नीड टू बी कंफर्टेबल विद दिस फैक्ट कि कल को अगर कोई इस चीज को पॉइंट आउट करता है और तुम पे ये लेबल लगाता है कि यू चीटेड, देन यू हैव टू ओन इट अप एंड से यस आई डिड चीट.
Yeah, that's very well said. That ownership and the consciousness of the consequences you should know. So that's true.
So should we wrap up? हो गया? Thanks. Anybody else have anything to say, or should we wrap up? Anamika, anything?
Nothing to add from my side.
Okay. फिर wrap up करते 6:00
Cool. So if guys anything about this or any other thing you want to talk about, you can just text us in the group.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Jaspreet.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Saurabh. Thanks,
Bye.
Tanishta.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.